Hey everybody, it's Pat Jones. I'm here with another Turf Zoom brought to you by our friends at Aquatrolls. I am extremely happy today to be with my friend Jeff Sexton from Evansville Country Club. Jeff, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Pat. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for making time for us because I know you've got a lot going on between having a normal year and a remodeling year coming up too. Tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do to the golf course there in Evansville over the next 9 months or so.
So we have a really action-packed golf season that started basically April 1st and or March 1st, and we're going to start shutting this thing down at the 1st of August this year. The club is making a massive investment into the facility. New driving range is going to be the focal point. Short game practice. In order to reroute that in properly, they've got to give us 5 new golf holes, and then we're going to rebuild some of the old clay-based greens and turn them into USGA, and of course make a grass change to the putting surface and new tennis, maybe some pickleball and some parking. So
how do you and the club communicate with your members to let them know all of this stuff that's going to be happening?
So we do it obviously through writing, but I do a lot of communication via email. As we get closer to groundbreaking, I'm going to be doing a lot of in-field videos and things that I can email to the membership. But basically, we've sent out a timeline. They understand. I'm starting to gear up and I use it like a basketball team that, I'm asking my membership to be the 6th man, kind of like the crowd is in a basketball game. It's going to be really important that they stay, interactive with the project. And, that's kind of how we're going to do it.
I love that. Now, and that fits in, I think, with my visits to come see you over the years. And one of the things that I've observed is you've always got projects going on. You and your team have always got little things you're trying to improve, whether it's a little landscaping thing, or you do a lot of, you've got somebody on your team that does this. You do a lot of sort of carpentry stuff and build out stuff. Tell us about that and how the members have responded to that over the years.
So the previous superintendent, who's now our general manager, he kind of established this thing where, his deal was that the grounds crew is going to save the club a lot of money. And in order to do that, he figured out that a lot of the things that a lot of people pay outside resources to do, we just do it in-house. So I've kind of continued that tradition. And like we did a full bunker renovation from 2013 to 2015 on top of maintaining the golf course. We did all that work in-house. And so we just kind of take pride in, doing 2 or 3 areas of the golf course every year. He and I sat down early and, let's pick the weakest area of the golf course and figure out a way to make it better. So that's kind of what we do here.
That's such a good idea to have a set of priorities that you and your boss agree on. So, I like I said, I visited on there, and I really do think your club is one of those underrated clubs out there. But you've always prided yourself on just great conditions every day. So, tell me about your agronomic philosophy over the years and what you've tried to accomplish and what your big challenges have been agronomically.
You go to school and you get a 4-year degree, and it's aerify and fertilize and fertilize. And, I did that my first 10 years of my career, and then kind of started figuring out that, we're all complaining about how slow our greens can get when it gets humid and the grass grows too much. And so let's start tweaking and playing around with fertility, right? And a lot of guys are doing that low input or low nitrogen program. And I kind of changed to that about 8 years ago or so. And, that's kind of how that's really my agronomic philosophy. I'm not a big soil test guy. I just let the grass look and tell me what it needs and when it needs it.
Right. So where does the Redox line fit in? Because I know you've been using it for some time. How has that supplemented that kind of low end approach and helped you produce great conditions?
Well, the beautiful thing about the Redox products is they very seldom have any nitrogen whatsoever in the jug. And so that gives me as the superintendent total control of my nitrogen. If I want the grass to grow, I put a little bit in the spray tank. But like products like the P Plus and the calcium combined, I use that a lot. It's been really good for me to help my rooting. I'm a big rooting guy. I use the Micro Plus product. I get excellent color out of that product as well. But I really appreciate the fact that I can control the growth of my grass a different way than just getting a greening effect because there's nitrogen in the jug.
Right. Yeah, and you got to feel better about it because you do have that overall control because the uptake is what it is. It's you're not sort of guessing about uptake anymore. Has that been important to you to know that you are going to be able to use those nutrients?
Yeah, absolutely. And it guys talk about it being a soil spray, or there's different terms. I call it a wet spray. Redox is always in with like a wetting agent to just drive it in there a little bit deeper. And,
Mhm.
2 to 3 days later, you see this magical response and color and vigor. And um, yeah, we've really enjoyed it.
So as you move forward with all of your processes that you're going on, I'm looking forward to you documenting a lot of the stuff on social media. When you started that process years ago and kind of got on there and started communicating it, what have you learned about being on social media and particularly on Twitter, turf Twitter, over the years in terms of how it's helped you accomplish your job or how it's helped you learn?
Well, on the job side of things, that's my big focus. I don't really care about what the guy in Oregon thinks of what I'm doing, but I've learned at a local level, my memberships see what I'm doing. And I got a lot of people that don't necessarily like the things that I'm doing, but they see it. And when I see them at the first tee, they say, "Hey, I saw you're doing this. Well, how'd you do that?" Well, I saw you posted it on Twitter. And I kind of consider Twitter as my mobile pro shop, and the golf pros get to open up every day. They see everybody come through the golf shop. I don't have that luxury because I'm out in the field all the time, but Twitter has allowed me to get out in front of my membership. And one, it's raised my credibility, and two, I've just been a superintendent that likes to keep my membership involved, and them knowing where their dollars are going just makes paying the dues that much easier for them. So
As you move forward with your renovation process and everything, you mentioned you were going to be doing more video. Tell us about that because I think that that's a really good tool.
yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. I don't publicize it a whole lot. It's more of a real local kind of thing. And I'll have a staff member go out and be the cameraman, and we'll do some videos and we'll upload that stuff, and then copy that link onto I have the ability to send a mass email to my members, and they're able to click on it and see that video. And I've gotten a lot of good positive feedback on there.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of that here as well.
Yeah, it's so important, and I've talked to I think a surprising number of folks that are veteran superintendents who've been turning more and more to YouTube kind of quietly to talk to their members because not a lot of their members are necessarily on Twitter, but the ability to send a quick 5-minute video talking about here's why we're redoing these bunkers has been pretty effective for them. So when you get a chance to breathe, what do you do for fun? What do you enjoy doing when you can walk away from the golf course and you want to clear your head?
Well, I don't have any huge hobbies. I just like to go home, be with the kids, the family. We'll go out and do some walking in the woods and do some things. It's like Masters Week here. I enjoy sitting and watching golf. Sometimes the wife doesn't like me to do that, but uh, and I really like. I've got a daughter that plays basketball. I just love basketball. I'm a huge Purdue fan, but I love just watching my kids play basketball. My youngest son is starting to pick it up a little bit, and he's a tall, lanky boy and can kind of post up every once in a while. So I spend my winters a lot just in the basketball gym watching kids play basketball.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's really fun. I do miss those days a little bit, but I got grandkids coming up, and I'll get to watch them do it sometime soon. So give us your kind of final thoughts about as you come into what's going to be a pretty crazy season. What are you focused on? What do you really want to focus on and make sure that the key things that get done during this year ahead, where you're essentially going to reinvent your golf course?
Well, I told my board last week that probably right now, we're 4 months out of starting, and 60% of my mind and my work is on the project already. Just making sure materials are lined up. The pricing has been ridiculous, just up and down. It seems like weekly. Um, but ultimately, my goal is to obviously keep the golf course in excellent condition, but also just make sure the project gets started off well and you know gets done. I'm going to be fully responsible for making sure all the materials get on property. That's going to be a big job. And, you know, I'm just kind of sifting through organization of all that at the moment. I just hired a new assistant. He's going to be it'll be new for me. I mean, ultimately, he's going to be 100% responsible for the day-to-day operations as we get closer and closer to the start of this project. So,
well, I think that's critical because you recognize you can't do it all. You're gonna need some support, particularly on that day-to-day stuff. But yeah, your challenges with construction are what I hear from everybody right now. It is challenging, and it's hard to get anybody to even quote you a price
yeah.
without a bunch of asterisks on it. So, but the one thing I know is if anybody can handle it, you can, Jeff.
Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. My dad did one years ago, and there's no doubt that I can't be very successful at this and be able to put this on my resume. And, you know, I tell my members all the time, what really drives me for this is the advancement and the future of Evansville Country Club. From a business side of things, the revenues are going to go way up when we're finished, and budgets are going to go up. People's paychecks are going to go up, and it's just a team effort of what we're about to take place here. So,
Well, for viewers out there, if you're not already following Jeff on social media, particularly Twitter, there's never been a better time to do it because you're going to learn a lot. Jeff, thanks so much for your time. Have a great day, and I hope you get a chance to catch some basketball this fall while you're busy with other stuff.
hey, thank you so much, Pat. Appreciate the invite.
Cheers. Stay tuned. We'll have another Turf Zoom coming for you real soon.